There are a lot of people in HR department. I hope all of them will also agree with me that people who are not people's person also will be there. End of the day, they'll be the best people's person.
Okay.
It's just a trust that a manager has, subordinate. Simple.
Right.
That one opportunity that has been given to that person makes all the difference. Recruiting a fresher is definitely not an easy job, but it is very interesting. There are two types of freshers. One, like what you said, they have everything predefined in their mind. Their office means you should be like this.
Exactly.
You should dress up like this. You should answer only in a tone like this. You should always be straight. All that has been already predefined in their mind, whether by their faculty or at home, or you have so many people who actually disturb you telling all this. The second set of people which I want to talk is that they are funky, if they want to spend their life today in the best way that they want, they will do.
Right.
But if you ask them tomorrow what they're going to do, they don't have a clue. So these two types of extreme people we are dealing with,
right,
which definitely is a challenge for us to recruit today.
What tips would you give them for the resume part?
Just write what you have done. Don't cook up stories. Don't copy paste from any sites. Write whatever you have not seen. When you go for internships, you identify, you learn a lot of words.
Right.
Write down those words. It can be anything under the HR umbrella, or it can be anything, whatever you learned. Write it. Explain it the way you learned it. That's more than enough. I'm talking more about positivity, which is lacking in many of us. Okay. We have so many people who pull down, telling me if you do this, that will happen. If you do that, this will happen.
Yeah.
But nobody gives you an idea saying that if you do this, you can go to the next level, you can try much more.
Right.
We hardly find people. But if you find somebody, please don't leave them. Okay, just cling on to them.
Welcome to the Thought Feed. In conversation today, we have with us Isaac, who is a dynamic senior manager, talent acquisition, and I'm excited to do this episode with him because he's someone I've been, observing since I joined here. That as a very lively and a very jovial person. So let's get into the topic of what it takes to, what exciting is about hiring new talents and what is his style of getting new talents here. And beyond that, we will also get some insights about latest trends that is, trending in the HR domain. And furthermore, with our conversation building ahead, we will also know or discover more about Isaac beyond recruiting. So let's get started. So I'm quite excited. So let's meet Isaac. Hi Isaac, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing too good. So,
thank you.
How excited are you for this episode?
In fact, I'm very nervous. Rather than excitement, it is about nervousness. Like, what are you going to ask and what am I going to respond? If there is something planned, I would really be, it should have been something structured. Now that I think we are not planning anything as such, we're just going on the go.
Yeah.
So let's see.
So that's how the best conversations happen. So we thought, okay, let's quickly start whatever we have in our mind. I'm sure you will have a lot more to share with us. So before we get seriously into the topic, first I would like to know, how did you start your journey?
Thank you for the opportunity and best of luck to you.
Thank you for this podcast as well.
Okay, yeah. So it was a wonderful journey for me. It's been around 16 years that I've spent in recruitment specifically, and it's just that I loved recruitment. There's a passion towards this, this job as such, or this stream as such, which I chose. Somebody trusted that Isaac would do something, and that somebody gave me the platform to start. And today I'm here as a recruitment manager with you, trying to discuss what are the best trends in the current trend. So it was definitely a wonderful journey, starting as a fresher in a staffing organization, and then proving myself, achieving a lot of goals. Month-on-month achievements, quarterly achievements, yearly achievements, and whatnot. Obviously, recruitment means numbers. So I'm excited about challenges that are in and around recruitment, solving those challenges, trying to convince people, and much more.
Yeah, so I've always had this thought in my mind. Is it really important for a person who's going to be in the HR department, whatever designation, is it important for them to really be a people's person to connect with the candidates?
to an extent. Okay, everybody can be that the way they want, but are you really born that way? No. If you ask me, everybody can wish to be a people's person, but they would not be able to. But then they would have somebody, whom they can follow, whom they look up as a, what do you say, as a person whom they can, role model. Yeah.
Right.
So possible, right? And yeah. And we are not very firm in standing or saying that only for a people's person you can be in HR. No, I'm sorry. There are a lot of people in HR department. I hope all of them will also agree with me that people who are not people's person also will be there. End of the day, they'll be the best people's person.
Okay.
It's just a trust that a manager has in a subordinate. Simple.
Right.
That one opportunity that has been given to that person makes all the difference.
So you've had candidates who probably maybe initially they were a little in their own shell. So how have you helped them come out of it?
Very much. See, specifically into recruitment, you have people who are very good at their calls. Okay, and when it comes to stakeholder management, where they need to go and talk to the hiring managers, they don't want to go to. Okay, they look up to their managers or leads. They want some support as a backup to go and talk and solve issues. In my team, I had a lot of people like that, and the way I connect with them, they feel that, is this all about that? So how good you make them feel, and the lightest feel that they can ever have will actually encourage them to go and talk.
Correct.
So they start with saying that, hi, hello, how are you? It starts from there, and finally they end up in talking about, this candidate has so much of experience. Why are you not shortlisting him? It goes from this end to that end,
Right.
where they comfortably, speak to the hiring manager, and end of the day, the work is done.
Okay.
It's just the confidence as a manager I need to give to my, subordinates. The trust factor that I have with my subordinates makes an impact.
Correct. I think that's quite an important, quality that a manager should really have, because when we talk about recruiting fresh graduates, I think they come with that kind of a notion in their head that I am entering corporate and I think I will need to maintain a certain demeanor and kind of have the seriousness within me, and then that's how we function. So I would want to know, so what is that process, recruiting a fresher?
Recruiting a fresher is definitely not an easy job, but it is very interesting. Okay, if you ask me how, there are two types of freshers. One, like what you said, they have everything predefined in their mind. Office means you should be like this.
Exactly.
You should dress up like this. You should answer only in a tone like this. You should always be straight. All that has been already predefined in their mind, whether by their faculty or at home, or you have so many people who actually disturb you telling
Correct.
all this.
Right.
But the fact is that what we look into the candidate appearance, let's talk about that later. When talks about when talks about the in-depth thought or the technical skill that I have, trust me, we have excellent technical people in today's market.
Okay.
Identifying those technical people is definitely a tough job. Okay, and the second set of people which I want to talk is that they have funky, all if they want to spend their life today in the best way that they want, they will do.
Right.
But if you ask them tomorrow what they're going to do, they don't have a clue. So these two types of extreme people we are dealing with,
Right.
which definitely is a challenge for us to recruit today, because we're not recruiting somebody for today or tomorrow. It's for about the next 3 years minimum we are talking about. It includes training, it includes the front ending part of it, client discussions, discussion with their peers, lot of things that are involved,
Right.
personally and professionally. So it is like they have to tune as in what is expected from the organization, then adapt themselves to the needs of the organization. That will be the best.
I think both these categories have their own pluses and minuses.
Definitely, 100%.
Where you need to do that filtering process and then see how much time will these candidates need than these candidates. Yeah.
That's where recruitment process, you
Yeah.
define recruitment as a process.
Right.
Otherwise, I will not have much of job to do, right? If you just see somebody and say selected, that's it over. Then no need of recruitment team as such.
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely we were doing hard work. Now, if you're still doing a hard work, I think you're not in game. You need to be smart enough to do. So we call it a smart work. You transform yourself from hard worker to smart worker. It's not about hardly working. It's about hard working and smart working.
This reminds me of something like I remember students used to, hype their resume so much. But they were, I'm sure, where faculties would have given them a rough view of how important a resume is, how presentable the resume should be, and they are tuned in such a way that they feel that maybe the best English language that they can have on their resume will fetch them a job. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, what you say is 100% right. People influence, right? I would look out for something. Even there is a mistake in a resume, I'm still fine because that person has tried something to write on his own, right? In the current trend, since we're talking about the current trends, we have ChatGPT, which helps everybody to write n number of pages that they want. But then, if you ask me, ChatGPT or self, I would go by self. Okay, ChatGPT helps you to define certain things, but when you write certain things, you understand and do it. It's not just like that you copy paste it, right?
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of difference, and I look at that writing part of it in a candidate, not just a copy paste.
Exactly.
Somebody gave idea to a candidate, to a student that it has to be in this color, that color, this font, and all. Finally, he had everything like certain things underlined, certain things in blue and black combination writings in the resume. I mean, the font in blue and black. I understand that in school, you used to write in blue pen and underline them with the black pen. That happens there, but still, the influence is in such a way that this person followed the same thing in preparing a resume also. I don't think it's a very good influence to do so.
True.
Colors, yes, I'm fine with the basic theme. Today you get themes also where you prepare resumes. So it's not a tough job for you to select themes. Select themes, write whatever you've done, present it. It's more of what you've done basically.
Exactly.
A resume is basically a gist of what you've done, and you're going to explain what you've done.
Right.
As far as a candidate is able to explain what they have done in the resume, at least, I think that's a good job. Job well done. Maybe I can put it that way.
Yeah. So somewhere also that they struggle so much to put everything perfectly, like you said, with different colors. I think that is a kind of fear or maybe an anxiety that they have. How I should be able to impress my interviewer in the first go itself.
That anxiety that is created from the faculty to the student, you need to impress this person somehow.
Yeah.
So I go about how do I impress? It's like basically impressing a girlfriend, right? You want to impress the first look. The first look is the best look. So the moment I start, searching for the best look and all that, I try to put everything in my mind, and finally it comes out in a very odd way where the interviewer, when he sees the resume, just throws it off.
Yeah.
It's tough to see that, but then we need to also tell them how professionally it has to be made, rather than it has to be the best. How professionally it can be made.
So what tips would you give them for the resume part?
Just write what you have done. Don't cook up stories. Don't copy paste from any sites. Write whatever you have not. See, when you go for internships, you identify, you learn a lot of words.
Right.
Write down those words. It can be anything under the HR umbrella, or it can be anything, whatever you've learned. Write it. Explain it the way you learned it. That's more than enough.
Right.
Rather than faking it out, trying to, when you're cross-questioned, you go and bang yourself somewhere.
Exactly.
That's going to be a very, tough situation for the interviewer also.
Right.
Because interviewer will feel that, did I ask a wrong question? The candidate will feel, I didn't answer well. It brings the energy level down. So we should try to avoid that.
Yeah, somewhere that will definitely, like you said, energy level becomes low and that self-esteem becomes low.
Very much.
Somewhere the language that the resume shows and the language that the person speaks has no connection.
Yeah. A few tips which I can give you is like the font that you choose.
Yeah.
It has to be readable by everybody. Okay. Even if a person just like that passes through your resume, he just wants to have a look. Is he able to read everything?
Correct.
It should not be a font where it's like cursive and monotype, corrosive and all that, where people really strain to look at your resume.
Right.
It should be very simple. It should be on to the point. No stories involved. Proper borders. If you want to include themes with good colors, good. It will be definitely looking professional.
Yeah.
A one pager or a two pager will definitely help you. I've gone through resumes where they had 14 pages, 15 pages, and trying to write all the history, geography in their resume, and finally we end up only reading the pages. We are not able to concentrate on talking to the candidate. And no wonder the candidate will also not be able to explain all the 14 pages because it will take half a day of his time. So we need to be short and sweet is what we finally come up with.
Yeah, there has to be something during the interview to be asked so that they can leave some space for that.
Exactly.
Correct. So, since we discussed so much about the fresh talent, how challenging is it for you to attract as well as retain this fresh talent?
Uh, what do I deliver?
Hmm.
Will be the first question of a fresher, which is not required. A fresher needs to be fresh. He has to come with clear mind.
Hmm.
He should not have any predefined stuffs in his mind before joining, the company. He has to be plain, where we can write what can he do, what if he does, what will he achieve. Okay, if he's coming in a plain, open-minded, if he's open-minded, it will be easy for the trainers to train and for the output to be also received by the organization.
Right.
Basically, the energy level today I'm talking more about positivity, which is lacking in many of us. Okay, we have so many people who pull down, telling me if you do this, that will happen. If you do that, this will happen.
Yeah.
But nobody gives you an idea saying that if you do this, you can go to the next level. You can try much more.
Right.
We hardly find people, but if you find somebody, please don't leave them. Okay, just cling on to them because they'll pull you and take you to a place where you would not even imagine that positivity can bring you so far.
Correct.
That's what I always talk about, positive things in my team as well. Because if talking something positive might bring a smile in somebody's face. Because all of us go through a lot of negativity throughout the day, and the next day morning when you come and when you start with the negative note, boss, the entire day is gone. People say, give me a break, come on. I've been hearing you for a long time talking everything negative. So one positive thought, you need to first develop that positivity in the candidate first of all. Maybe I can take an example, like I have a fresher joining us today. I give him all pep talks. I tell him about the organization, I tell him about the process, I tell him about the policies, I tell him about how all he can grow up. But are we telling him that what exactly will be his professional ladder? We fail there.
Okay.
As many of us would definitely want to achieve something, but we don't say the way to achieve things. So as a fresher, he wants to know, where will I climb after doing what? If I'm able to give that, say for example, if it's going to be a software development, I will start as a trainee. Then I will move into a software developer. Then I'll become a senior software developer. I'll become a tech lead. I'll become a team lead. Then I'll move into architecture or I'll move into management, project management. All this can be given only on the first day or the second day where this person is fresh.
Right.
If he's given a clarity or maybe the roadmap or you call it a blueprint,
correct,
he will fix it in his mind and work towards it.
The time and space that the candidate will get at that time.
Rather that we hit him on this is your goal, this is your goal. But end of the day, what if he achieves his goal? Do we have a carrot? Matters a lot. Today, people expect a lot of things when you achieve something.
Correct.
But we hardly give them a pat on the back also today. That's the sad part of it.
Yeah, I think everybody, despite the levels or the designation, I think each one of them would look forward for that acknowledgement that yes, this is what I worked for, and yeah, some or the other way I should be appreciated for what the kind of work I've delivered. So with fresh candidates, it's even more because they come right after their college with great expectations, also some unrealistic expectations as well somewhere.
That's why they are students, right?
Yeah. Voice quality. I think, like you said, can be provided by the heads, the managers who they are recruiting. So, how do you further help them? Like I'm sure you would have come across difficult candidates also after hiring. How do you help them come out of that shell? A fear factor that always dominates in their head.
Okay. Very good question indeed. We had a lot of candidates who had trouble after 6 months. What am I going to do after doing this? Or what is my future? Because of lack of guidance, See, as a manager, I shouldn't be only focused on my delivery. I should be always focused on my entire team, their well-being, as well as the comfort zone that I give them to work with me. right? So when I'm giving them the comfort zone to work with me, they'll be open enough to come and tell me that I'm not clear.
Correct.
I want this guidance. I want that guidance. Can you help me here? I'm stuck. If you're able to give that space to your subordinates, I think you will be the best manager. Rather than it should be, I would say it shouldn't be a waterfall. It should be an agile. Okay, it shouldn't just flow this way.
Yeah.
You should be open enough to discuss and allow them to speak and try to understand what they want, where they are stuck, so that you give them a clarity. After 6 months, you will get into this. After 1 year, you will get into this. I always, when I meet students, my talk to them will be on how will they grow in the organization. If I'm talking to them on the first 3 years, I will tell them first 6 months what would they do, the next 1 year what do they do, and the next 1 year, that is the on completion of 2 years, what will they do, and the third year where will they be. If this clarity is given, they're able to accept the offer. And trust me, I have 90% or 95% of joining ratio when it comes to freshers. Dropouts are definitely because of family reasons. Sometimes something happens and they are not very comfortable. Yes, that is accepted. Anything cannot be 100%. You definitely have to have something there also. So 90-95% is the joining ratio when it comes to freshers for me. So I'm very happy that I'm giving them realistic picture of what is exactly expected from them as an organization, and they're able to accept whatever I'm able to convey to them, and they are convinced. It's not that I convince them, please come and join, please come and join. Gone are those days where you convince people, say this is the best opportunity, please come. People are very clever these days. They look at what you get back.
Correct.
Everything doesn't come for free of cost these days. I give you something, you give me back something. Right? So people look out for that.
So far, I mean, you've been able to manage that aspect, not feeling really challenged about it.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You actually pointed out internship. So how these internships really help these candidates to come into the mainstream corporate culture?
Internship is actually a very good program where all the colleges, many of the universities are definitely allowing people to do internships as a mandatory part of their curriculum. When it is internship, I give the candidates way to learn a lot of things. Today, even an internship, they come and ask if it is a paid internship or is it a free internship.
Yeah.
I would say please go for free internships. Learn a lot of things. Try to get absorbed by that organization. You will fly high. Don't look for money wherever you go. It doesn't happen. Look for knowledge first of all.
Yeah.
Acquire knowledge as much as you can. It can be technology, it can be recruitment, it can be anything. It can be finance, it can be marketing. Try to understand those few words that you can speak about the language that you know, about the studies that you have gone through, about the examinations that you have done. Relate them to whatever you can learn from that department.
Right.
Learn from there. Speak the same thing in 2-3 interviews. You'll get shortlisted. That's how you go step by step. Directly, if you want to go to the last step and say that I know everything, please hire me, I want this much. Doesn't work. People get cheesed off. In fact, I hope a lot of hiring managers would agree with me that people don't talk about skills. They first talk about what is the budget that you have for this position. When you don't know what you need to do, how can you talk about budget? I'm surprised in certain colleges. Students ask me, what is the cost? I sometimes get puzzled and I ask them, why do you ask about the cost? Do you know what work you're going to do? They say no. They don't have any knowledge about what they're going to do, how they're going to do, where they're going to do, when they're going to do.
Straight away they want
only the package. Right. So I explain them all this. I need to train you. I need to equip you. Then only you are ready for a job. For this, I need to definitely take 1 year to 1.5 years, which is a complete investment from the organization side. Then they are okay, fine. Then their expectation comes 50% or 70% down, which means that they understand what
so
exactly.
You give them a reality check there.
Definitely.
Right.
Honestly speaking, I have not lied to any candidates till date and convinced them for something which is not there.
Right.
I've spoken whatever is there, is available for them to come and achieve, and for them to grow along with the organization.
Correct.
So that way I'm very happy as a recruitment guy. Even today I feel proud to say I'm a recruiter because it's not just giving them a job, it's giving them life. With that life, their family is also happy.
Correct.
So I feel some amount of satisfaction when it comes to recruitment.
See, I mean, I have spoken to you several times, so somewhere I kind of understand that that fulfillment factor should always be there, both for you as well as the candidate you hire. So somewhere they are satisfied the kind of role they are, taken for, and the work that they do, and then you're there to tell them how well they've been doing, and so fulfillment is there on both the sides. So I think that's something which both people look for in that. So Isaac, tell us what has been your best practice for to integrate the candidate into the organization.
So far, the best practice is that since we spoke a lot about internship, hire candidates as interns, try to identify the potential candidates. If you hire 10 of them, if all the 10 are really, or exceptionally performing well, it's a win-win situation for the organization as well. So hiring them as interns, trying to observe how the grasping power, how interested are they in learning things.
Are they adaptable and all?
Yeah, very much, because that's very important in today's world. Not everybody will be able to adapt. The word adapt actually is very important in today's world because everybody wants everything as plug and play. It's tough, right? So if you have somebody who can adapt to the situations, today you're smiling and you're interviewing me. It doesn't happen with everybody. It could be a bad day for you. Post lunch, it would have been a really good day for you. Your expression changes, but you're able to adapt and you're able to come up and say that having few questions, you're able to still deliver the same quality. The same way, candidates need to be assessed if they are really adaptable. It can be a customer escalation, it can be a training while on the job training is there. While training, if they have some negative thoughts, how do they overcome? Are you really teaching them to overcome them, or are they adaptable enough to understand that situation and then wait for the next day to come so that it is solved? Do they have the patience to adapt, to understand the environment, and then to work on? So that's very important. What we need to check with those candidates, and then we can hire them directly.
So have you got an opportunity to hire
very much
during that period?
Our organization gave me that opportunity, which was suggested and it was approved by the CEO. We did that; it was successful.
Right.
And till today, I have all of them on board, and they are very successful. I think they have completed about a year or so.
Oh, that's
so,
nice.
Yeah, it was a successful program. I think thanks to Inspices for that, basically.
So, what tips or advice that you would want to give the fresh candidates who are on a lookout for a job? What are the do's and don'ts that you want to tell them?
I wouldn't say do's and don'ts, but the best thing that I see in all these freshers are they are technically superb. Okay, I find everybody to be technically strong, just that they need to work on their presentation skills. They should just try to say what they have in their resume or what they have in their mind. If they're able to communicate that to the person opposite to you, that's the best thing that they can do. Otherwise, I don't think anything to be specially worked on except this, because many of us fail only because of this.
Right.
And it is not they don't know, they know, but all those if you recollect the predefined structure that they have in mind, that an interview has to be like this, you have to respond only like this. That should not be there. It should be broken.
Correct.
They should be themselves, okay, and many of them will be really successful if they do that itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So, since they're all fresh, they're from college, like we discussed that there could be these two types of students that you come across. There would be some of those who kind of have a little bit of attitude issues, and that may not fit well in at the corporate setup. So
yeah, attitude can be tuned. I mean,
yeah.
That's how.
It's not very difficult to say.
Should be fine, because that's how you become a successful manager. Okay, while we talk about adaptability and all, a manager is definitely successful only if he's having a successful team. He cannot be a manager by himself doing everything. That's not possible. Yes, where 100% you will definitely have one or two attitude issues there in your team. Doesn't matter. With that, how are you able to win? Will be my thought as a manager. Okay, So if I'm thinking that way,
Hmm.
I think all the others would also definitely do the same thing, because if you think that you don't want attitude, you will not also grow at one point in time.
Right.
It- People management also plays a very important role
We
here.
change that into a good attitude trait.
Very much, very much.
Right.
See, whenever you have a fight with your friend in school or college, that person becomes to be your best friend, or according to today's world, it is bestie.
Hmm.
Okay? So all the minuses will be turned into plus uh, in seconds. You never know when will it happen, but it will happen. So same way, a person with attitude, it's the manager's responsibility to take a risk. Today we are not ready to take risk. Honestly speaking, that's the truth. We will take risk.
So don't you think sometimes we might really encounter difficult people?
That's still
that
fine.
way?
Yeah, that's still fine. I think challenges. We are talking about challenging workspace. What is so challenging when you know something which is already being done? Some challenges like this, if you take, it will be helpful for you to also grow as a manager, and that will help that person to also look up to you as a role model.
Right.
Why not? Tomorrow he might have your photo in his place and say he's my role model.
Hmm.
You never know. So why don't you be that extraordinary person who helps people to come up? So that's how I've been. I would like to be that throughout my life, so that we earn a lot of good people. We train them. I meet a lot of students.
Right.
I mentor them also. So I don't feel that as a hindrance of getting attitude people in your team, and I don't find
As in wrong attitude.
Yeah, as in wrong attitude.
So was there a moment so far in your journey where you lost your cool on any fresh candidate that you hired?
I would have lost my cool, but then I didn't leave them. I pulled them back. I tuned them little. If you take for an example a guitar, not all strings are tuned all the time. Every time when you take a guitar, you need to check whether it is in tune or not. Okay, even if one string is not in tune, your entire music goes for a toss, right? So one string needs to be tightened a little bit. So that tightening I would definitely do, and I've ensured that the person is still there with me.
Okay.
So that's, I think, the best part of it as a successful manager. So I feel proud about it as well.
So your music analogy makes me ask you another question, that
My
you
God.
are inclined towards music. Are you a musician?
Yes, I am a musician as well.
So the analogy comes from there.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think probably with that kind of mindset, what I understand about you after all these questions is that, however the fresh candidates come, you're like, okay, I'll see to it how well you do, and you make sure that they become integral part of your team, and they deliver their best. Because the takeaway that I have from this particular episode, that one is there needs to be a high level of patience on the part of managers as well. Also, that will help, because these are all fresh students who are fresh candidates who are coming for the job, for that particular role. They are also looking for some comfort, and try to break that whatever preconceived notion that they come up with about the corporate environment. So I think that this kind of a quality helps them to ease a bit, and work, deliver better, learn better, more than deliver first, learn better. And yeah, I think that's a very good process.
Give them their space,
Right.
so that they'll allow you to assess them.
Correct.
You don't take all the liberty
Space
to
is
assess.
the
Yeah,
word.
the space.
Right.
Bang on, space. Space and trust.
Right.
Very much important for you to hire somebody under you.
Correct. So I think we've had an interesting episode to start off with you. So there are a lot more questions about onboarding, and then trends, and then Gen Zs is the most interesting topic that I want to discuss with you. But I guess we have few more episodes coming up, so we'll catch up with you again on these important topics.
Thank you.
Much more deeper
Yeah,
on trends and the process and everything.
definitely.
So far, I think we've had an interesting conversation with Isaac, and I think he's made me also feel quite comfortable with these, asking him the right questions, and he's given a very insightful, led to an insightful discussion. So whoever, especially if you are a fresher listening and watching this video, please do take these tips in consideration, because this is how you will build yourself up, and you will be fearless, at least in the beginning of your journey towards your job role in a corporate environment. So make sure that you make best use of these tips, and all the best. So thank you so much for staying with us, and thank you, Isaac, for this
Thank you.
interesting episode.
It was wonderful to connect with you, and
Yes.
thank you so much for
Yes.
those lovely questions.
We have a lot more.
Yeah, to be continued.
Yes, to be continued. Until then, thank you so much. This is the Thought Feed by Inspirus Solutions Limited. Bye bye.
In the early 90s, we never had anything called video conferencing, right? Or we hardly practiced that. So we had only telephonic discussions. The communication models were telephone, letters, and emails to an extent. Very rare. But today, we talk to people in any mode that we want. Or do it on WebEx or Teams or a WhatsApp video or any mode of online you connect with. It's very simple to connect with somebody wherever you may. One thing which I always advise recruiters, always give feedback to any candidate. It can be a positive or negative feedback, doesn't matter. Give them that positive feedback so that they'll be happy. Give them that negative feedback also, which will make they're doubly happy, because they will improvise and they'll not wait for your call.
Right.
End of the day, you shouldn't become a villain there. When we spoke about the fake candidates, I interviewed one of them, and the technical panel also interviewed the same person. A person who joined also was, a person who was shortlisted, and he had a date of joining maybe 2 days in the coming week or something. And then when he joined, the same question was asked, and he was blinking. So we had a small doubt, and we wanted to cross question again to check, because people are very smart these days, using all smart things.
Right.
So we questioned the same thing, and we found out that he was not the same person who we interviewed. He was the twin brother of the person who we interviewed. So even if they were non-identical, you had some chance to guess something. Since they were identical twins, you had very less chances. And then we found out that that was a fake interview and all that.